All right, well, I just spent about 6 minutes breaking this fight down, and it didn't record the audio because the volume was turned off because of this stupid-ass microphone. But you know what? Gotta do what you gotta do. We're gonna go back into it. Obviously, Double M from the Touch 'Em Up podcast. We're here for the 10th and final week of the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series breakdowns. So far, we're at a 72% accuracy in terms of overall correct picks. We went 5-0 last week with pretty much every single winning method predicted. Whoever got the KO, we predicted it. Whoever got the decisions, we predicted it. Sean Gauci by decision, and the rest of the fighters with the finishes. We're going to jump right into the 10th and final week, and let's continue on the up and up. We can't get complacent. We can't stop breaking these fights down the way that we do, and we have to pay just as much attention to week 10 as we did to week 1. So let's get it started. First up, you have a battle between Muhammad Otto taking on Jonathan Micallef. Listen, I already spent time breaking this down. I did a pretty solid breakdown, but the volume didn't record. Here's what the Cliff Notes version of that is. I believe Jonathan Micallef to be the more technical striker. He's a southpaw. He knows how to fight southpaw. He uses the check right hook. He uses that straight left down the middle. He circles pretty well, and he has good head kicks. I think his best weapon is probably that rear kick to the body and the rear kick to the head. He's got good grappling, man. He doesn't mind taking you down to the ground, winning positions, getting in the top and looking for a submission, or using ground and pound to soften you up and then allow you to give up your back or give up a position where he can set up a submission. I do not like, however, that he's not the most durable on the feet. This guy can be hurt. This guy can be dropped. This guy can get knocked out. But he's not a quitter. You can't really come into a fight against a guy like Micallef and suspect that once you hurt him, he's going to be done. I've seen this guy get dropped multiple times in a fight. He eventually did get knocked out, but he landed some shots on his opponent. He went for a Kimura from the bottom when he was basically dead to rights. So this guy is always going to look for a chance to get the job done. He's only lost one time in his professional MMA career. When you look at Muhammad Otto, I think he has more weapons to offer in terms of his overall game. One thing I do like about this guy is he has very solid takedown defense. Sometimes he gets a little over-aggressive if he's on the mat, and he might overcommit to some positions and allow for his opponent to try to set up a submission, try to sweep, try to work his way back up to the feet. But if you do shoot takedowns on this guy, he is not easy to take down, and he has a very solid get-up game. He uses the wrist control on the one side, the underhook on the other side, or potentially the overhook up against the cage. Very good takedown defense, and he's got very good strikes off the break. That's something we talked about with Micallef. He can push you up against the fence and try to catch you circling out towards that power side, which is going to be that head kick. Muhammad Otto does the same thing. He's got good head kicks. He checks calf kicks very well. He can turn that shin out. He has good timing on his defense, especially for low kicks. But I think he has more volume and more output on the feet than a guy like Micallef. I would say Micallef is probably, like I said, a little bit sharper, a little bit more technical, but I think the output and the variety of Otto, paired with his takedown defense and the fact that he's good from the top position and can go for submissions in his own right, I think I would have to side with the underdog here in Muhammad Otto. The odds just came out. He's like plus 115. I think he has more ways to win this fight, and I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't suspect him to be getting submitted by Micallef. I think that he's going to be able to have more output on the feet. I think he's going to be a little bit better defensively because although Micallef moves well, he circles well, he knows how to get that outside foot against the opposite stance fighter. We've seen Otto fight southpaws, and he knows how to land his combinations. He knows how to land his strikes. He knows how to land off the break in the clinch, and he knows what strikes to throw against that opposite stance opponent. He has a pretty solid fight IQ from what I've seen, and even if Micallef does get hurt, which we've seen happen in other fights, and then he got knocked out later on, if he does panic wrestle and panic shoot, like I said, I think this guy has very good takedown defense, good wrist control, good ability to use the overhook or the underhook on the other side to turn off the cage, go back to the center, and then put the pressure back on the opponent while being aware of the counters. I don't think Otto has the best defense with his hands. You know, he might get clipped by the straight left of Micallef. He might get caught with a check hook on the exit, but I am going to side with the underdog in Muhammad Otto. I think he has more weapons. I think he has really solid takedown defense to the point where if he hurts Micallef, he's going to be able to stop those takedowns coming in. And I think he has good strikes off the break to where maybe if he hurts him, Micallef panic wrestles, he can circle off the cage, push him away, and start to land kicks off the break, elbows, straight punches, uppercuts, and I like Muhammad Ado, man. I think he's going to get this done. I like him as the underdog. Give me Muhammad Ado to get the job done here. Second round TKO over Jonathan Mikalev, or Mikalev, however you want to say his last name. All right, up next, this is a fight that I really don't have a lot of tape on. This is a hard one to break down. This reminds me a little bit of the Andre Pulaev fight. You have a battle in the strawweight division between Leslie Hernandez taking on Julieta Martinez. Martinez's nickname is the Ninja Ferret, and Leslie's nickname is Dora the Destroyer. So you have Dora the Destroyer versus the Ninja Ferret. Might be the greatest battle of nicknames in the history of MMA, let alone the history of the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. But the only thing I've really seen from Martinez is her take an opponent down, bulldoze them, and land vicious ground and pound. But her striking, from what I saw, was very lackluster in terms of her defense. She seemed like she was a little bit hesitant. But I don't know. That was kind of old for footage. And then another time I saw her land a vicious head kick and knock her opponent out cold. I've seen her land a strike and just knock her opponent into another stratosphere with one strike. She's got a quick, precise, and deadly head kick. And if she lands it against Leslie Hernandez, Dora the Destroyer is going to be destroyed. But that's about all I know. I don't know how good her grappling is. I don't know how good her defensive grappling is. Her defensive striking didn't look that great, but I only saw about 2.5, 3 minutes of fight footage on this girl. It's very hard to find anything that you can really write home about. She's got a good head kick. If Leslie's looking to wrestle, she can strike off the break. I don't think Leslie Hernandez has the best striking defense, but I think she can hang on the ground. I think she has the better wrestling. I think she has better grappling from the top position. I think she can land strikes from the top position with elbows, hammer fists. She can look to set up submissions of her own. She's good from controlling from the top. And she's got a pretty solid understanding of the striking game. Again, she's not the best defensively. Both of these girls, I think, have defensive holes in their game, but I also think Leslie Hernandez has fought the better competition. We have more tape on her. We've seen more from a girl like Leslie Hernandez, so we can make some more assumptions. And based just off that, man, I have to go with Leslie Hernandez because I don't know much about the opponent in Julieta Martinez. Martinez is the favorite. I don't understand why, because we've seen more from Hernandez. I think she's the favorite because of that viral head kick KO that she got. But again, we don't know much about this girl. We don't know how good she is. We don't know what she looks like outside of the first round. We don't really know what she looks like outside of the first 3 or 4 minutes. And I've seen Leslie Hernandez keep up a game plan, move pretty well on the feet. She can be hit. So if you think that Martinez has a lot of power, then maybe you just play Julieta Martinez by KO. I mean, that's kind of the only play I would take would be Julieta Martinez by KO. Martinez KO 1. But I think Leslie Hernandez is going to get it done. I think she has more weapons in her game. I think she has the better cardio when we get to the second and the third round. If we get that far, her striking is pretty technical. She knows how to put combinations together. And it looks like she has the more educated grappling side as well when it comes to this fight. Again, who knows? This could be another Andre Pulaev fight where you can't find a ton of tape on him. Whatever tape you do find, he doesn't look that great. And then he wins on the Contender Series. Kind of like Rami Hamed. He didn't look that great. And then he wins on the Contender Series against Mang Ding. So this is one that's kind of scary. It's kind of like stay away. But I got to go with Leslie Hernandez. Give me Dora the Destroyer, Leslie Hernandez, or Leslie, Dora the Destroyer, Hernandez to get the job done here. I'm going to go with a second-round submission. Give me a second-round rear naked choke. I think she kind of weathers an early storm, starts to land combinations, gets Martinez tired, finds a way to get a takedown or win a positional battle, and then land some ground and pound and get the submission. So give me Leslie Hernandez, second round rear naked choke against Julieta Martinez. If you want to take a shot on the girl who's the favorite, but I don't know how she's the favorite because we don't know too much about her, then, I mean, I would say Martinez KO 1, Martinez KO 2 would probably be your best bet for that. But give me Leslie Hernandez, second round rear naked choke submission. All right, up next, we've got a battle in the featherweight division between the Cuban problem, Yadier Del Valle, taking on Antonio Montero. Listen, man, I think this fight's pretty decent. Montero versus Del Valle. I think that the better striker is Montero. I don't think he's that fast. I don't think You know, he has that quick, explosive power, but I just think he's way better on the feet than Del Valle. Del Valle probably has more powerful, like one-punch KO power, but his striking doesn't look that great. And anybody who does say his striking looks good probably doesn't know what they're talking about. I'm going to be honest with you. The main weapon in Yadier Del Valle's game is the grappling. He wants to get you to the ground. He wants to either be on his back, throwing up arm bars, triangles, getting your back, looking to set up a rear naked choke. This guy is a guillotine machine, okay? That should be his nickname. It shouldn't be the Cuban problem. It should be Yadier the guillotine machine Del Valle. If he ever changes his nickname to that, I want some credit. And that's what this guy goes for. If you put your head low, he's going for a guillotine. Arm in, no arm in, legs in the air, 5-star frog splash, whatever you're trying to throw at this guy, he's going to go for a guillotine. The guillotine machine, man, that's what this guy is. He's going to look to get your neck. He's going to look to hunt that front headlock. He's going to go for an arming guillotine. He's going to jump to a regular guillotine. And the one thing I've seen from Antonio Montero is I've seen this guy defend multiple guillotines in one fight. So I don't really think that the guillotine's going to work from Del Valle unless he hurts Montero on the feet, drops him, rocks him really bad, and then as he tries to get up, he locks in a guillotine, or he drops him, follows him down from that front headlock, and jumps on a guillotine choke. I've seen Del Valle get pushed back, and when he gets pushed back, he explodes with big punches, but they're very easy to see. They're very telegraphed, and he starts to get tired. Everything that he does starts to become telegraphed. The longer that this fight goes, if we get into the second round, midpoint of the second, third round, that's when I think the striking of Montero is going to win. He reminds me a little bit of a Jailton Almeida. Not skill set wise, like don't come at me in the comments, but I don't know, just the way he moves, the way that he kind of walks forward, he gives me a little bit of a Jailton Almeida vibe. He throws decent 1-2s down the middle, a decent jab, decent hook, throws some good kicks as well. A little bit slow, but I think the explosiveness of Del Valle, it's outside of that first round, it becomes very telegraphed and very easy to see, and obviously the guillotine machine is going to hunt that front headlock and hunt that neck and try to sub you with a guillotine. So I think if Montero can stay on the outside, control the range, control the distance, stop the takedowns, defend the guillotines, which I've seen him do multiple times in one fight before, come back and start to land his combinations. I think both of these guys are going to be tired in that third round if we get that far, but I think the guy who can push and find a finish in the third round would be more on the Montero side than it would be on the Del Valle side. I don't really like this Del Valle guy. Obviously, he's live for a sub. He's live to land a big, wild hook and knock his opponent out. But I don't think this guy's that good. I think that if you can defend the submissions, if you can get out of that first round, push him back, start to have him build that lactic acid in his muscles, then he's going to get tired. And I think a guy like Montero can break him. I've seen Montero go 5 rounds. I've seen him go third round. I've seen him go into the 4th round. I haven't seen that much from Del Valle. And when he did get pushed back, he was almost breaking. He was almost getting TKO'd. He was going to, fall over at that point because his explosive movements and his constant submission hunting, it didn't work. And I don't think it's going to work here against Junior Nagao, I think is his nickname. I don't think it's going to work against Montero. I think Montero's going to weather the storm early, start to pour it on in that second round. And I think towards the end of the second round, he's going to get the job done with a body shot TKO. It's going to be a left hook to the body, a knee, something that as Del Valle's pushed against the fence, he's going to get hit with a shot up the middle, and he's going to crumble. Give me Antonio Montero to get the job done. Second round, body shot TKO, probably late in the second round. I think Del Valle probably wins round 1, but I think outside of that, it starts to go heavily towards the side of Montero. So give me Montero, round 2, body shot TKO in this fight. I'm not really impressed from the guillotine machine in Del Valle. All right, next fight up, you've got a battle between the returning to this season of the Contender Series in Nick Piccinini taking on Luis Gurule, who's 9-0 as a pro. Nick Piccinini 7-0. This is in the flyweight division. I'm going to be honest. If you guys remember, we picked Jack Duffy to win the first time that Piccinini fought on the Contender Series. I went back, I rewatched that fight today. Yes, it was close, but I believe Piccinini definitely lost that fight, man. Like, it was close. I don't think it was a robbery, but I do think Jack Duffy clearly won. And if you remember, he came into that fight as a +1 or +320 underdog, something around there. And we had a bet on him on the money line, and they gave the split decision to Piccinini because of the takedowns. He had a good second round, takedowns, control, got to the body triangle, hunted for submissions, almost got an arm triangle, it didn't happen. But he definitely controlled round 2. Round 1, he got a takedown, didn't really do much with it, got chewed up with low kicks, got pieced up with the leg kicks and the jabs on the feet. Round 3, got a takedown again, didn't really do much with it, and was getting outstruck by Duffy. Duffy switching stances, chopping the lead leg, inside, outside, throwing jabs, good knees to the body. And I just feel like he was the busier and more active fighter, and I think Piccinini definitely should have lost that. Dana White agreed. He said that he thought Jack Duffy won, but going into this fight, man, I mean, we know what Piccinini's going to look for. I mean, he'll look for a big overhand. He'll look for some jabs. He'll switch stance, but he wants to get you to the ground, man. He wants to take you down. He's got good pressure from the top, good takedowns, really solid by pushing you up against the fence, works well from half guard, tries to control the wrist, land shots with the other hand, hammer fist, hooks, landing shots, trying to get to the full mount, land ground and pound, trying to take your back, look for a rear naked choke. If you shell up when he's on top from the full mount, he'll try to set up that arm triangle choke. And this guy's going to look to just rinse and repeat, takedowns, close the distance, land some good strikes to get you to overcommit, shoot, get you down. If he can't get the double, he'll work back up to the body lock, try to take you down that way, push you up against the cage. When he gets you down, like I said, half guard control, controlling the opposite wrist, really heavy hips, heavy top pressure, and he's just going to look to break you or slow cook you over the 15 minutes. He's taking on Luis Gurule, and I haven't seen much from his grappling. I really haven't, and that's really the biggest thing in this fight. Like, what have you seen from the grappling of Gurule that's going to make you think that he can stop the wrestling of Piccinini? I haven't seen much, so I can't give a full assumption on it. But what I can tell you is that Gurule is going to throw much more volume than Piccinini. Gurule has a very solid technical striking. This guy is pretty good on the feet. I'm not going to lie. And you know I don't say that about everybody. Good jabs, good 1-2, solid leg kicks. He can throw question mark kicks. He'll switch his stance, throw same side combinations, uppercut, hook, throw to the body, throw knees up the middle, which I think could be to his detriment or to his success, because if Piccinini can catch those knees, he can take them down. But if he can't, he's going to go knees up the middle. Now, what you do have to remember is Piccinini took the fight with Jack Duffy on short notice. He was originally supposed to rematch Jack Duffy in this spot. Duffy got injured. Now it's Gurule taking the fight on short notice. So it's kind of a role reversal here. We're going to have a full camp Piccinini. We're going to see what he really looks like, because the no camp or the short camp could really play a factor here. But I don't think it's going to be easy for him to get on the inside against Gurule. I think even if he does, he's going to have to look out for those shots from the inside. The uppercuts, hooks, like I said, solid knees. He's got good head kicks off the break, decent question mark kicks. He uses his jab well. He's very good with keeping his hands up. He did get dropped by a jab, and then his opponent was able to jump on him and take his back and look for a submission, but he wasn't able to get it. Almost got put in an armbar, but he was able to defend it. So the guy has good defensive grappling, but we have seen him end up on his back, but it was mainly due to a punch. I do think Piccinini is the better grappler. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything different, because I would be lying to you, and I'm not trying to do that. I think Piccinini does have the better grappling, but I find it very hard to picture a world where he's able to just take down Gurule and beat him up and dominate him and do so over 15 minutes without getting hit, without getting cracked, without getting, caught by a lot of shots on the feet. And I don't think that Piccinini's defensive striking is that good. I mean, there was barely any output against Jack Duffy on the feet, and Gurule has much better, more dangerous striking than Duffy, and he switches stances, and he has knockout power. So I think when it comes to that, man, I think the output on the feet is going to be from the side of Gurule. The bigger punches is going to be on the side of Gurule, or Gurule, however you want to say his last name. Again, we don't know too much about the takedown defense, but I think he's going to be able to defend at least a few takedowns from Piccinini. And I think he works up to the feet. He pushes Piccinini back, draws out shots, makes him panic wrestle. And I really think Gurule is going to beat this dude up. I really do. I think he got a gift with that decision over Jack Duffy. I do not think he won that fight. I don't think it was a robbery, but I don't think he won. And I think that's going to come back to bite him here, man. I think he's going to have to pay it back, and I think that's with Gurule kind of breaking him in the midpoint of the second and the third round. I think this guy has better output. He manages range and distance pretty well. Takedown defense is going to be a big question in this fight, but I think he can defend more takedowns than he gets taken down with, and I think he can work his way back up to the feet. Again, I like the output. I like the striking. I like the head kicks. He can even do that little duck under, throw the head kick over the top, level change head kick, question mark kick, 1-2s, and I think he's a much better striker on the feet. And I think he's going to outland Piccinini. I think he's going to hurt Piccinini, and I think he's going to make Piccinini panic wrestle, which is going to draw out those takedowns from Piccinini. Give me Luis Gurule. Give me Grim Gurule to get the job done here via we'll go third round via a third round TKO. I think he hits Piccinini with something big on the feet, calls him back up, hits him again, hurts him, drops him, crumbles him, jumps on him, and finishes him. Give me Luis Gurule. Give me Grim Gurule to get the job done here via third round TKO over Nick Piccinini. I just think he's the better fighter, man, and I think he's going to have good enough defensive grappling to get the job done here. All right, next up, we've got the main event of the Dana White Contender Series Week 10. The final fight of the Contender Series. You've got Nick Klein taking on Geraldo Souza. 9-1-1 for Souza, 5-1 for Nick Klein. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, man. It's Geraldo Souza all day. Obviously, Nick Klein wasn't supposed to be in this spot. I believe it was supposed to be somebody different. Let me check. Yeah, he was supposed to be taking on Alain van der Merkt, who is currently 8-0. I think that was a much better fight than this fight against Nick Klein. I think Nick Klein is pretty dog shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like to say that about fighters because I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. But, I mean, Geraldo Souza has had 2 fighters pull out. It was going to be Wes Schultz. Schultz withdrew. Then it was going to be Alain van der Merkt. Der Merkt pulled out. I think Geraldo Souza is going to knock this dude out, man. His striking is so much better. It's on such a higher level than Nick Klein. Nick Klein, decent leg kicks. He looked pretty decent in a kickboxing bout I saw that took place like 4 years ago. If you take this guy to the ground, he doesn't know what to do. He gets taken down. You can beat him up from the mount. You can beat him up from full guard. And even in his wheelhouse, at least what you can assume to be his wheelhouse, he gets clipped. He gets rocked. He gets hurt. And I think Souza is cleaner technically. I think he has more power. I think he puts shots together better. And, yeah, I like Geraldo Souza here, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I kind of think he runs through Nick Klein. I'm going to go Geraldo Souza first-round knockout. I think he runs through Nick Klein. I think once Klein starts getting hit with some big shots, he's going to shell up. It's going to open up the body. The body's going to open up the head again. And I think a big right hand down the middle is going to sit down Nick Klein. And some ground and pound is going to finish him off. Give me Geraldo Souza to win. First round knockout over Nick Klein. I don't think he gets the job done here, man. I do not think Klein does it. I think Klein was just called in to get a big win for Souza because of his opponent falling out. And it's the second opponent he's had fall out. So I think Souza's way better, more powerful, cleaner, better technically on the feet. And I think he's going to beat up Nick Klein. Give me Geraldo Souza first round knockout over Nick Klein to finish off the 2024 Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. I'm your host, Double M. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and smash the notification bell with a downward elbow to catch all future uploads from the premier mixed martial arts and pro wrestling channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Double M, and I'm out.